You are now listening to B-Movies and Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I felt watching the Cage movies.
Welcome into episode 304 of B Movies and Beyond. We have a very exciting episode for everyone. Mostly because we have a special
Roots
guest.
episode.
It's getting back. Yes, it is getting back to the roots. You're right, Ryan. We haven't done this in a long time, but we're gonna spoil a movie.
You know what, Peter? When you text me after our last episode, and you're like, "Hey, let's spoil this movie," I was like, "Son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah. Well, and I even thought about so the last episode we had Molly on from Did That Age Well, and what was that?
Oh, our guest Molly. I thought you were talking about some psychedelic drugs.
No. Yeah, our guest Molly. I thought about doing that, but I was like, no, that's too similar to her podcast. So let's go old school. We'll do it for ours. Maybe we could have done a side A and side B like we used to, Ryan.
We should have.
That was too
man, we wouldn't get to episode 365 any sooner if we did that, Peter. And it would mess up your catalog. I remember you saying, nope, don't do it. Don't mess up the numbers because my OCD goes crazy. And I don't blame you.
Yeah. In fact, those A and B episodes, they really don't exist anymore, except for on my hard drive. So if you want those, email me. But we got a special guest with us to participate in this awesome movie. We got our good buddy, Innate.
Hey, that's me.
What's up, Nate?
That's you. Yes, it is. That was your cue to say hi.
Oh, hello. Oh,
how you
and
doing,
applause.
buddy?
Fantastic. Now that I'm on here with you.
Damn straight. Makes everything so much better, right?
Exactly.
Colors are brighter. Food tastes better. You could smell things.
We're like Molly.
We're like Molly for your movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, if she listens to this one.
Yeah. But we are going to spoil, in celebration of Nicolas Cage month, Con Air.
Woo!
Yes, where are the woos and the applause? Thank you. Okay, hold the applause.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
like Ryan said,
Nothing else.
I thought that was more an applause, but that was just a dog. Thank you. Was that Atlas?
Yeah, they're
Thanks,
going
Atlas.
crazy.
Nice. They're just excited for Con Air too.
Exactly.
But yeah, I watched this because I was watching Nicolas Cage movies like I do all month long, and it's been a while since I watched Con Air. And the whole time when I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, there is so much to talk about throughout this film. And so I reached out to Ryan saying, like, dude, we have to spoil this. So, and we will.
It's been long enough. Yeah, what, 1996, 97?
97
really
came out. Yeah.
It's only been 26
it's been long enough.
years.
We could spoil the shit out of this movie. So this episode, we're not doing the regular stuff with news, trailers, reviewing our own movies, recommendations, or anything like that. We are just going to go straight into some Con Air. However, there is one little thing I want to just give Nate because of the episode and the context, and he loves his MCU and whatnot. So, Peter, let me just go ahead and go there.
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
All right, Nate. Last week we asked pick a movie and replace a character, any movie with Nicolas Cage. And we had some great ideas, and ultimately we just decided on changing people's entire filmography. We're like, Nick Cage can do all these movies. So, but we want to narrow it down this week for you and pick a Marvel movie and replace a character with Nick Cage. Any movie, any character.
Well, the one that I chose was, he's not actually a character yet. They just kind of teased him, but Adam Warlock.
Okay.
Just imagine Nick Cage, all gold, running around half naked. Amazing.
Is it the half naked thing? That's what you really want to see?
That was mainly, yeah, that was a stipulation of mine.
I like Adam Warlock as that. I like their casting for him right now, but I think just like we've asked this question before, Nick Cage can just replace anybody.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a chameleon.
He's a chameleon actor. Peter, do you got one?
Another one? You said just for the MCU?
Yep, just MCU.
Ghost Rider. Oh wait.
Let me ask you this: would he be replacing Nick Cage as Ghost Rider as Nick Cage as Ghost Rider?
Oh, I hope so, and I hope he makes a reference to himself playing Ghost Rider.
Did Nick Cage play new Ghost Rider and referencing old Ghost Rider would be hilarious.
Yeah,
it'd be the most Cage ever.
Oh man, something else. Do you have another one, Ryan? I gotta think about it for a second.
You know who I'd like? I would like him as. I would kind of like him as Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Michael Rooker, but I think Nick Cage can pull that off 100%. Or who's Stallone's character? I think Stallone's character, he can totally take that role. Just some way, somehow in Guardians of the Galaxy, I could see him playing a future mutant in the X-Men. Just haven't pinpointed it yet, you know? Like not a major one. He can't be like Magneto yet, but I think he can. He's a chameleon. I want him to be in something. I pick Guardians. Someone in Guardians. I want to say. Let me go with Stallone's character. They were the Ravengers. He was a leader of the Ravengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mostly because I want to put Nicolas Cage in space. He hasn't been in space yet, and that would kill two stone birds at once.
Nice. I got mine, and I think he would do a really great job. I think he could be Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's a good one.
Why you pulling me straight?
He's been a wizard before, and I thought he pulled it off nicely. I think he'd be a great Doctor Strange, and he's kind of weird.
He's super weird. I like that one a lot. Yeah. All right.
What about Con Air Nick Cage, with the long flowing hair, Thor?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Loki. He would be a good Loki.
Or he could be Loki, yeah, actually.
Black hair flowing, just the same thing, and he can totally be Loki. I'm all for that one.
Nice. Me too. Should we get to the feature presentation?
We need a spoiler cue.
We do. That'd be nice. But be warned, everyone. Con Air, come on. If anyone has not seen this movie, get on board. This is from '97, directed by Simon West. This is actually Jerry Bruckheimer's first solo production, movie production that he produced. And who wrote and directed this? Some amazing people. Scott Rosenberg.
Woo!
Yeah, no.
Woo! I
has
think he did other cool things, right?
I don't know.
Gone in 60 Seconds, another Nick Cage movie.
Okay, there we go.
He was in Kangaroo Jack. Awesome writing there. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Jumanji, Next Level. Oh, and he was a writer of Venom. Another character I could see Nick Cage being. He could have been a good Carnage. I mean, Woody Harrelson's better, but I think he would be a good Carnage as well. I don't want to
Yeah.
go down that one. But Simon West, Peter, hey, did you know this little tidbit about him? That this was his first movie he directed. Prior to this, the first he used to do music videos, and he was a director of one of the most watched music videos of all time.
What's that?
Anybody?
Gangnam Style.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna. Don't know the rest of the song. But yeah,
Very good.
he did. He did the. He was the director of Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up."
That's awesome.
All right, so you watched Nick Cage this weekend, and like you were watching a child. You watched Nick Cage this weekend. No, you watched Con Air. I'm sorry. And what inspired you to watch Con Air?
Because Nicolas Cage month.
But he has so many other movies to watch. Like, just why Con Air?
Well, so the previous year I watched The Rock, and I think the year before that I watched Face Off. So it's time for Con Air. There you go.
Fair enough.
Well, when was
You're
the last
slowly
time?
making your way up, Peter.
Yeah. When was the last time you actually watched Con Air?
To be honest with you, it was like November. It was on TBS or something, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Con Air. I'm not gonna do anything else. It's a great movie. And you could catch that movie anytime. Like, it could be in the middle of the movie, and you're like, I haven't missed anything. I know what's going on, and this is awesome.
Yeah. What
So
about
Nate-
you, Nate?
Yeah.
Just
What?
curious, last time you watched Con Air, besides
Got the
today,
question. 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Well, actually, I lied. Nicole's dad loves all those kinds of movies, so those are always playing background. I know I've seen him watching it, so I caught some then.
What do you mean those kinds of movies?
Action.
Don't be prejudiced.
Like 90s, early 2000s action movies with explosions galore.
The best.
You think they're all Michael Bay movies, but they're not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought this was Michael Bay, but has he
Simon
directed a
West?
movie like this?
No
Oh, The Rock
kidding.
is Mike.
Oh yeah, The Rock. Yeah. So my understanding is that they're doing The Rock, and that was Jerry Bruckheimer as well, and so that's when like they brought up like this script to Nicolas Cage, and like he's like, I'm in, so which was a great decision. Which it seems like everyone else that was cast in this movie wasn't as thrilled as him, but we can get into that. So okay, what is the premise of Con Air? Let's start there.
In the title, a giant plane with convicts.
And they take over. Nicolas Cage plays Cameron Poe, Army Ranger. He just gets back. He's from Alabama, which did anyone believe that accent that he was from Alabama?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The whole time before I looked this up, I was like, I don't know what he's supposed to be playing. Is he just playing like a slightly retarded person? Like I was so confused.
I felt like his accent kind of went away at parts and then came back.
Yeah, there was a handful of parts where like, oh, he kind of lost it. He really got into it and forgot he was supposed to do accent. But he actually went to Alabama to like see how people talk there, which I don't know. I've never been to Alabama, but Ryan thinks it's perfect. It's spot on.
Spot on.
I don't know. I just it was interesting to say the least, and there is definitely moments where for me it just I'm gonna use the word enhanced the scene.
Like you guys said, okay, maybe he was doing his best impression because when they say you remove yourself from that people from Boston, when they're away from Boston for a while, they lose their Boston accent. But then whenever they get next to someone who's from Boston, it comes right back. So did you notice that in the scenes, like he had it, and then when he was on the plane with the convicts, it was kind of gone. And then when he
Right.
saw his wife, dude, full fledged,
Instantly
100% like
back. Yeah.
from
Yeah, makes
Alabama,
sense.
like slow talking, and you know, I'm Cameron Poe. Like you, you
This
can't
is
do
what makes
his.
Nick Cage so amazing is that he thinks of these little details and he integrates them to his movies.
Oh, I mean, dude, he escalated this movie. Escalade? Is that right? No, that's a car.
That's Kool-Aid.
Escalated. That's proper.
He escalated this movie.
Whatever.
That's
He
not
drives.
right. That's not the right word, but I'm just saying he made it better because like dude, he apparently like there wasn't enough like character development. So he put it all into his character. Like he's like, yeah, dude, like you gotta have the Army Ranger. I understand that he's the one that came up with the whole bunny and how that's supposed to simulate like his kind of his innocence, and all that part of it. So that's why the bunny was so important to him. Also, like to for his child. Like, dude, without all these key things, like this movie would not be as good as it is. Like, I don't think you
Very
would connect as much, right?
well, and it had to be different than The Rock. Like it, he can't be the same character he was in The Rock, so he has to be a little different, you know. And part of his Alabama charm is he wore a wife beater the whole time. Like the only time he was wearing something else is his prison uniform. But man, he was just in his wife beater, and he was just running around with his long flowing hair, just dirty and greasy, and just talking in this slow drawl with his wife beater on. And I want to get into it a little bit later, tell a little bit more about the story. But my question is, how are all these other convicts, like, how did he convince them that he was not a convict? But let's talk about that later on. Peter, get a little bit more into what's happening. So he got into a little drunken scuffle that sent him to prison, correct?
Yeah. So he just gets back, finds his wife's pregnant. Some guys calls him soldier dick. um, this is all to the saga. How do I live? And then yes, they're trying to leave, and I get they imply he's kind of that he's a fighter. You can tell he's a fighter. The wife mentions how he's like, oh man, I thought I lost you again, where he just gets in scuffles, and then sure enough, they wait for him to leave, and he can't back down from the scuffle. Like it's like Back to the Future. They like call them, I forgot what they call, I don't know, like chicken, and then he gets in the middle and starts kicking some ass, and he kicks their asses a little bit too much and kills one of them.
Isn't that a Baldwin brother?
Was
The
it?
guy that he killed? I think so.
Dude, I thought it was too, because he was very much a shithead like Billy Baldwin would be. But
Right.
I didn't see Billy Baldwin in the character list. Let me double check that. But
it looks exactly like him.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I'm looking through right now. I don't see it, but so he kills
he has
them.
the most respectful wrestling name ever, Kevin Gage.
But who's he played by?
Kevin Gage.
Oh, that's his name. I thought that was the character's name.
Yeah.
No, the character's name is Billy Joe from Alabama. Billy Joe, played by Kevin
Joe.
Gage.
Okay.
And he was apparently married to Kelly Preston. Interesting.
That is interesting. All right. So they go to trial, and here's what I love about this. Like, I feel like he's in jail, like in prison, like within 5 minutes, if that. And then there's a short montage. But I just want to like typical, like, and this is, I agree. He's like there's a scene, they're sitting out inside this like courtroom or outside of it on a bench. His lawyers tell him like, you should take the plea deal, you should plead guilty. He's like, I'm not pleading guilty. And he's like, oh man, if you don't plead guilty, it's 10 years to life if you say non-guilty. He's like, if you do plead guilty, it's like 4 years and you'll be out in 1 year. And then next scene. Oh, he pleads guilty. He's sentenced because he's a weapon. His body is a weapon trained by the government, and so he should know better. And he is sentenced to 7 to 10 years imprisonment. Which, can you really say 7 to 10 years? Like, wouldn't you just say 10 years?
Well, I think it's like 10 years and then 7 on good behavior or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not what they said. They said 7 to 10 years. Like,
Mm.
and there's a lot of moments where I feel like the writing was just like, well, that's kind of odd, but whatever. He's going to prison, and the whole time I was just like, man, that is like the worst lawyer ever.
Yeah, was he just like whoops after that, or?
I think he ran out very quickly. Like, don't kill me. I just,
well,
man.
you got to remember, it does take place in Alabama, and their judicial system is a little bit different than us.
Well, if anything, they'd be more on the side of him because he's a ranger, right?
You would think so. You would think this movie would have a little bit longer of like a trial for him, but you're right. It's just like, nope, you're going to jail. You have no other options. Like, this dude had no chance to prove his innocence whatsoever.
And I tried to, and I missed it. I wanted to go back. Like, do we see who actually throws the first punch? Is it him or is it them?
I think it's the bald one.
It's definitely Baldwin.
Gotta be.
Yeah, it was them because they came out after him, and they had a knife. And didn't he?
Yeah.
He stabbed him in the leg with a knife and then attacked him. So his body, Nicolas Cage's body, is a weapon. Let's not forget this. It doesn't matter what movie he's in. His body is a weapon.
It's true, but should he be punished for it?
As the actor, like in the military, or Nicolas Cage as
either way. I think either way. I think it's a no. He knows how to control it.
No, but she was like, I almost saw him come out, and he's like, well, sweetie, he didn't come out. Like he had his little speech about like his inner being demons coming out, and then the Billy Baldwin brothers decided to come out and attack him.
Yeah, soldier dick.
Yeah, soldier dick. And listen, okay,
so
I know it's
question.
1996, but Monica
Park. Quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah. So, is it actually Nick Cage doing those handstand push-ups?
Oh, I think.
Or is that like a double? Yeah, you think he can do that?
My understanding is that he was working out nonstop on the set there, where and I think they said that he got down to like 3% body fat, so I think he was doing that. Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he wanted to be like always
impressive.
just bulky, just constant flexing. So
you gotta look good in wife beater, and like, how do you look good in a wife beater? You just do prison workouts.
And grow out your hair.
100%.
Yeah. So that's the whole prison montage where he's just explaining, like, all right, he's writing back and forth to his daughter, which is fantastic. You're getting through all this stuff so quickly, setting up his character, showing that, like, he's not that bad of a guy. He's just, he's a Southern guy. He's all about those morals, and he's not going to back down from a fight. Like, you can't fault the guy, right?
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, and then there's even another part where he says to, like, the female guard, like how this would be the first time I'm going to see my daughter, that he's getting released, and he's like, no, I'm not going to let my daughter see me in prison. Like, that's also like another big character theme. Like, it makes sense, right? It's like, no, I don't want my first impression to my daughter is that I'm in jail, even though you're writing from jail, but whatever. Again, some of the reasons are a little bit odd, but still I get behind why he did it.
Do you think writings the the writers adding that in, or do you think that was Nicolas Cage adding those little nuances in?
I think it was Nicolas Cage.
I
I
agree.
think those parts. Yeah. So
No, Cameron Poe can't see his daughter while he's in prison. He needs to see her when he's out. That's totally
Yep.
Nick Cage.
Yep, absolutely. And then so then he's packing up and he's gonna go off and he's gonna take this flight to home. I really love though, like Bubba Gump.
Yeah.
How he was like, "Oh man, you're so lucky. Like I'm never gonna see one of those like parole letters." And then Nicolas Cage just kind of like, "Oh come on, is it Baby O? Is that his name? You remember? It's Baby
Yeah.
O."
I think so.
And he's just like, "Come on, you'll get there." But I'm out. He just starts screaming.
Yeah. It was very abrupt when he just screams that.
Yeah, I was like, "You are not very sensitive to your friends."
Not even a little.
No way. Well, you'd be stoked, but yeah, you're right. Screw him. He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, so then off to the plane. And that's when you get introduced to John Cusack and
Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle.
I completely forgot he was in this.
Oh yeah.
And he's
same
actually
here.
a pretty decent part of the movie too.
He kicks things
Substan-
off.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's say he burns it down is what he does. Oh yeah, so okay, not only is Nicolas Cage the main actor in this, but you have John Cusack, John Malkovich, Steve Buscemi, Ving Rhames, and Dave Chappelle.
Danny Trejo.
Oh my gosh.
The guy from Star Trek.
Yeah,
Tom Meaney? Is that what it is?
he was a meanie, wasn't he?
Yeah. Played Agent Duncan Mallory. No, not Mallory. Malloy.
Malloy.
Yeah.
And meanie. And then you're right. Bubba Gump is in.
Bubba Gump.
Oh my gosh! Now that hit me. Okay, who that is?
Yeah.
The whole movie.
Yeah. It's a pretty amazing cast, that's for sure.
Can we jump around with Buscemi? Because so he's the creepiest part of the whole thing. And
Yes.
he's the one that gets away. Like what?
Oh, yeah.
He's literally a psychopath wearing heads for hats, and he's the one that gets away.
But okay.
In
He
entertaining
makes-
fashion.
Yes, but he also makes a very good point because, like, they're talking about how insane he is, because of that
Right.
whole, wearing a woman's head for a hat. But then he's also like, what's more insane? Going to a 9-to-5 job, like Monday through Friday, and spend your whole life, like, like really, what's really insane? I'm like, you have a good point there. I don't think you need to go kill people, but
Right.
yeah. But that is. His introduction is awesome. Gets on the plane as soon as it gets out, and he's just sitting there and just interacting with everyone. Like, every single scene with him is gold. And also one of the most unsettling portions of the film too
Yeah,
is with
exactly.
him when they land, and he just takes a little stroll to I don't know why the
Little
only
trailer park or something.
Yeah, a little trailer park in nowhere where the only person that lives there is a little girl that plays in a dried out swimming pool. So
Yeah, where are her parents? Why is it a dried up swimming pool? Why is it everything in shambles around them? Very creepy naked doll.
yeah, I don't know
Just-
what's worse, that he didn't take her with him and that he just
Right.
left her there, or
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that, like, I think everyone thought, oh, she's gone. She is a goner.
Right.
And no, we are. She makes it, which was a very nice thing, which totally changes your opinion on him, right?
A little.
Yeah.
But
He was-
maybe he just doesn't kill children. Maybe it's just older women.
Good point. But, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because of that,
Yeah.
though, I was okay that he got away. Maybe he turns
Yeah.
his, a new leaf.
They had
Maybe,
to show
maybe.
the little girl at the end, like when they made it up in the air. They had to show her holding the doll. Otherwise, they left it they left it an open-ended question. You had someone in writing was like, no, we got to show this little girl that she's alive. Steve Buscemi did nothing in that entire movie, but he had some of the most inspirational quotes. Like you said, the 9 to 5, the insanity thing. When they were listening to, what was it, Leonard Skinner?
Yeah, Sweet
he's
Home
like,
Alabama.
Isn't it kind of ironic? We're listening to a band that's talking about freedom, and they end up dying in a plane crash.
Yep.
He said some very profound stuff.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, there's more to him. Like, he was just fantastic. Very creepy though. He did a great job at that.
Funny thing about Buscemi and John Malkovich is their characters were written with them in mind. So their actors, like when they wrote those two characters, they're like, we have to write this for John Malkovich and we have to write this one for Steve Buscemi. So they really brought out the creepiness of Steve Buscemi and the manic structure of John Malkovich.
How's that true? They didn't cast John Malkovich to the very, very end. He was like the last person. The thing that I read for trivia said that he was hired like 3 days before it started.
I made that part up. I'm John Cusack. John Cusack and Steve Buscemi's characters were written with them in mind. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
But John Malkovich, if you would have never corrected me, it would have made a lot of sense. Well, right?
It did. Well, here's the thing. I'm kind of disappointed because John Cusack, I read that he hated it. He didn't want to do this. The only reason why he did it was I guess, for the paycheck and to get a little bit of leeway with the production, with the studio to get are we getting a guest appearance?
Oh, hey.
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Banana appearance.
Are you just taking over?
No, I'm just getting home from work.
Better go watch Con Air.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to spoil it.
I was so mad. Nate sent me a picture saying that he watched Con Air, and I was jealous.
Nikki, while you're here real fast, what's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Put me on the spot.
You should always be ready.
Favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be Con Air. I do love that movie. I gotta. Oh, The Rocket. Ooh, Face Off. Face Off is really good too.
I mean, that's like his trinity right there.
True.
What? When was the last time you watched Con Air?
All the way through. It's been a while. Bits and pieces. Whenever it's on. It's one of those movies that I don't care what part it's on, and I see it, and I'm like, Con Air. Watch that.
That's
earlier. Very true. Yep, you're right.
I think that word for word what I said. I was like, it was on TBS in November, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna.
See, that's my issue.
Legit.
Is that, I think
in a patient's room it was on, and I was watching it in a patient's room with the patient. We were just having a little bonding moment, but hell yeah.
That's great. I hope no one was dying on your watch when you were watching Con Air.
No one was dying. It was okay.
Okay. That's awesome. You got a favorite character in Con Air?
Yeah, I liked Pinball, Dave Chappelle's little part. And I really like the gay guy who comes out in the skirt and everything.
Oh yeah.
His name is Ranoli as Ramon Sally Can't Dance Martinez.
Sally Can't.
But my favorite thing about him is like when he tries to attack Cameron Poe, and he stops him, and then he just lets out this very mediocre slap, and then it's super dramatic, and that stopped him. Like Cameron Poe was like commandeering the plane, and he's like, I got this, and little Sally Can't Dance was like, and he slapped him.
That was a good slap. But I liked how, he was going in for the punch, and then he's like, nope, this is the lady.
What else? Okay, I also liked him. I had to look up some of his stuff. I'm sorry, you guys. My brain is shot from working today. I also liked him as Daddy, Big Daddy, in Kick-Ass.
Oh, Nicolas
Oh,
that was him?
Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Switch-
thought you were talking about the Ramon guy or Martinez. Sally Can't Dance. So I was like, what?
No, he's never been a Big Daddy.
No.
That
in
and
Little Daddy.
oh, and National Treasure. How could I forget National Treasure? That's another one. I could watch that movie anytime. Either one.
Well, Nikki,
So-
maybe we
Are
should
they
set
making another one?
No, they made a series and Nicolas Cage isn't even in it.
Week. Okay. Well, banana out. I gotta go to bed anyways. I gotta be back up at like 4:30 in the morning. So.
Oh, jeez.
Did Nate just
But-
take a piss break?
Huh?
Did he just take a piss break and was like, "Here you go"?
Did you pee?
I think he went and had some Taco Bell.
He did, but I definitely ran in and just kind of was like, "Oh, hey!" I was just gonna like say hi and walk away, but then he handed me the headphones. So, and then you guys started asking me questions, and I'll always answer on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, bye. Good to see
Good
you
to
guys.
see you. Bye.
I'm back.
Hey, how's the Taco Bell?
So good.
So where were we?
We're talking about John Cusack, I think.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about how he didn't really want to do the movie. He didn't really enjoy it, and it was just for a paycheck and make it so the studios would let him do some more indie work. So this is just a path to get to what he really wanted. And then the same thing for like John Malkovich, which he was very displeased with the whole production as well because they kept on like rewriting his lines and like changing it day of. And I guess he didn't like that. He thought the movie was gonna suck. And he still doesn't really promote this movie. like none of them really do, except for like, I think Nicolas Cage. Which what?
This is better than Rock.
Oh, dude, this is so high octane filmmaking right here. I don't understand how anyone can hate this. And especially those guys, because I feel like they're kind of like, they don't take themselves too seriously. And then like, like, hey, this like, well, apparently I guess another reason why Malkovich didn't like is because now he's like tagged as like, oh, he's a great villain. He's a very smart villain. And so that's what like each further role was that. And he's like, nah, fuck you. I don't want to do that. So I get that you're typecast, but he did a great job. Well, everyone did. This is just such
John
a
Malkovich is a great villain, though.
I know. I need to do more of it, but
Yeah, I just watched a clip with him in with Matt Damon, and they were playing poker, and he's a Russian.
Rounders.
Yeah, Rounders. That's what it was. Yeah, he's like the exact same character, but with a Russian accent.
Yeah.
Dude, I use that clip on my sports show all the time. Whenever we talk about contracts, we just pause and go, "Pay him, pay that man his money."
It's money.
Oh man.
Oh, Founder's good movie. That's a good thing about Con Air too is it makes you think of other movies that these other actors are in. And when I was watching that too, I was like, oh shit, that's John Malkovich. That's John Malkovich. He's a good villain. Everything we're talking about right now is perfect because you watch this anytime, any year, any century, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's like a time capsule is what this is.
Yeah.
So they should appreciate it. John Cusack and Malkovich should really just appreciate the time capsule of what this movie is.
Yeah. I read in all this trivia I'm getting it from IMDb, so I don't know how accurate that is because I think anyone could put shit up on there. But I heard the both like expressed interest if they ever did a Con Air too. Like, yeah, I'd join that. Like, so you don't hate it that much. Plus, they probably just be like
At this point, they just need some money.
maybe. So John Cusack, he's the U.S. Marshal. He oversees the jailbird, the airplane. He's Vince Larkin. You have I don't know. Meanie is what I'm going to say. I'm sorry if that's not your name. But he's a DEA agent with his other buddy. And and I think that's important to note because as soon as the hijacking with Pinball lights the chief on fire. Jeez. Which I love how he's like, man, if you make it through this, I hope you can forgive me. Like, man, but that was pretty brutal, just lighting a guy on fire to make that distraction. And Pinball's the reason why he releases all the convicts and opens up everything and starts the whole takeover of the plane. And then you have the scene where the other DEA cop, but she was supposed to get to John Malkovich, right? Cyrus the Virus, to like get some information. Was that the point of him being on that plane?
Yeah, he was supposed to be like an ear. That's why he had the tape recorder, so he could really just figure out what kind of plan this guy. Yeah, get to John Malkovich, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then he Duncan he gives him a gun. We're like, again, John Cusack's like, no guns on the ship, and you'll fuck
Which
with.
didn't matter anyway.
Yeah, because there's another gun on the plane.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
they
pilots had
got
a
a hold
gun.
of, and yeah, they
The
got a hold of
fucking
that
plane
right
was
away.
full of
and
guns, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
When they landed it, they went to the carriage and there was shotguns and assault rifles galore, dude. They had a field day. They just had to go underneath where the cargo stuff was.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where they got the guns from?
Yeah, dude. They're on the
Oh.
plane.
Wait, so you're telling me like all they had to do was just jump down to like where Nicolas Cage's box was?
Yeah, 100%.
Was that breaking news?
Con Air 2.
Yeah, is it happening? Okay, so that makes sense for like, yeah. Which again, this guy just goes back to the whole writing thing. You're like, no guns on my ship, and yet there's guns everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
like some of these things weren't thought out, but it's so fast, like your brain can't even keep up with it. You're like, whatever, who cares?
That's
And
why I thought it was a Michael Bay movie, Peter, because that's how he makes his movies. He's like, this explosions, and somehow we'll figure out a story in the middle of it.
yeah, so it's just all about the action, which I do want to get in there, but the part where John Malkovich comes back out, the other DEA agent grabs Pinball and is like, "Don't make me shoot him." There's a standoff. John Malkovich gets the girl, and then like, what did he? I think they're asking like, "Who are you?" To the DEA agent, like, "I'm fucking DEA." Like that was a big deal, right? And I was like, "Is this why?" Like, it was so far out there. It was like, I don't know why the Drug Enforcement Administration is on this plane and why he thinks he's such a badass.
Right. That was kind of strange.
Yeah, and then they kill him off, so good riddance.
Yeah. It didn't last long.
Yeah.
There was nothing regarding drugs on this plane whatsoever. They were major freaking convicts. They were murderers and rapists and serial killers. None of them really.
And he was just trying to get information. I don't know why they couldn't put some actual undercover cop that does this for a living instead of a DEA agent.
I don't know. Again, some of those things I just don't know what they were thinking, but it made it very entertaining. Like that delivery of that line, I started cracking up. Like, dude, you need to sit the fuck down and like what Nicolas Cage was doing. Like, hey, this situation's above you. You just need to drop the gun.
Out of control.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's get to some of these action scenes, which the first one, I guess in order, is Nicolas Cage goes down to his box and Billy, oh man, what's his name? Bad Boy Billy. That's not correct. But he's down there and has the bunny, right? Kind of figures out, oh, Cameron Poe's not who he says he is, and maybe he's not that bad of a guy.
Which brings me to my favorite quote of the movie. Put the bunny back in the box.
Yep.
In his nice and slow Alabama accent.
So slow. And then it's great. So they go to their big old fight thing, which I think, remember at the time when I first saw it, I think I thought it was awesome. This time watching it, like I really I noticed how awkward it is because they're like
When they
underneath the plane.
charge each other.
Yeah, they're all like hunched over and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I
And
thought
then
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and then they're like fighting each other, and Nicolas Cage does a move where he just sticks his ass up to hit the guy up to the top of the ceiling.
Yep, 100%.
What an awesome move! I'm just gonna punch you.
Yeah, and then he kind of just rolls over, and at some point a pipe gets broken, and
Yeah, how did that pipe come springing up? I don't
I feel like
remember
one of them grabbed it and it got ripped out. I don't
could be.
something like that, and then Billy ends up, Cameron Crowe pushes him onto it. And seals it because his guts go through it and seals the pipe. It was fantastic.
Apparently, yeah.
And then to follow up to your quote, he says, "Why couldn't you just put the bunny back in the box?"
Exactly.
Just repeats himself. It was
yeah,
awesome.
he says it like 3 times. It's amazing.
Yeah, the bunny was very important to him.
The bunny was supposed to be more important than Steve Buscemi in this entire movie. The bunny could have been played by Steve Buscemi, and he would have had a more pivotal role in this. Great action scene. First of many, really. I mean, okay, yeah, because that's really where no. The first one is where they kind of break loose.
Yeah,
I suppose the DEA part. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the point though. This is like his Cameron Poe's first fight scene.
Yeah, because Nick Cage really didn't do anything in the first part.
Yeah, he just does really quickly. Stops like Danny Trejo, Johnny 23 because he was trying to beat Johnny 24.
Right.
And again, further showing us how he's the good guy, he's not going to let bad things happen to women and all that. So, but then this, the next big action scene is they land at this abandoned kind of airfield that's off of nowhere, and they kind of crash land, right? And John Cusack, he steals the other agent's vehicle, races over there. Nicolas Cage gets out while they're all digging out the plane to turn it around. He's like, I'm gonna go find the fuel truck, but he's really trying to go find Bubba Gump's a syringe so that he can take his insulin so he doesn't die. So really, again, another point to show that he's a good guy. He's always there to try to help his buddy, even the other convict, the good convict, to try to keep him alive. But he's off on this mission, and this whole sequence is so far out there, and I was getting very confused, by the way. A lot of these very fast-paced action sequences, I don't know what was right from left. I was so confused. Let me know what you guys think. But he goes off to try to find this fuel tank, and I feel like he's gone the whole time. Runs into some drug lords and beats them up. Runs into John Cusack, and they talk about who he trusts. And he's like, I only trust 2 people, and one's me, and the other one's not you.
Great line. Great line.
That scene was so compound. They compounded everything into that. It was not only he wasn't trying to get fuel. He was trying to get syringe.
Syringe. The fuel truck was just to get to tell Cyrus hey, this is what I'm gonna go do. This is why I'm not helping you.
Buy some time, and then ran into the drug lords, and then found out there was a guy in the plane eavesdropping on the conversation with him and John Cusack, where I forgot the prisoner's name, who called in the other plane, was in the plane. They both listened to it, and there was a silent shoot off. Meanwhile, the other convicts were getting mass weapons as the cops were showing up.
Yeah. John Cusack calls the cops. No one knows he's there. Which this is the part. Again, his whole Poe's mission was to get the fuel truck. I mean, / syringe. He finds that. He does find the fuel truck, though, right?
No, the fuel truck found them.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how he's left alive. He doesn't even find the fuel truck. Then there's this. They figure out the cops are coming. And so they come up with a whole plan that the convicts come up with a plan to like, all right, we're gonna funnel all the cops down this way. We got all these propane tanks that we're gonna open up, which they all look so rusted as shit that I don't know why there's any gas in them, but there was. And they open those up. They get all the guns. They set up this elaborate plan of attack, and they just start taking out all the cops.
They found grenade launchers, which I thought was. Why would that be on a airplane anyway?
You never know when you might need a good grenade launcher. So, and then John Cusack joins the fight. He brings up this big old plow truck, which I don't know why you need a plow truck in the middle of a desert, but again, regardless, he gets
Sometimes you
all
gotta
this
move dirt around, I guess.
I don't know, maybe a
little bit of sand. Yeah.
Yeah. He's taking all the fire, everyone's shooting at him, keeping the cops alive. They keep on moving forward. And then Poe shows up behind them. Right? Yeah, no one knows.
Right. Yeah, he's
But
very sneaky.
he determines the best way to get back to the ship is I gotta follow this path. He starts running through all this gun fighting. He finds the abandoned cop car, gets in that, drives around all crazy. I don't know where the hell he's going. Again, this is what I'm talking about. The action scenes, like I have no idea. It just looked really cool, and so you
Right.
go with it. And somehow he makes it
I didn't
back.
even question the cop car thing, but yeah, you're right. That was pretty ridiculous that he even picked that up.
Yeah,
You know,
I
Like,
don't-
are they that far away from the airplane?
I didn't think so.
I thought they were just like right there. I
And
don't know.
John Cusack was able to find a plow.
Yeah, and he drives
In
it
the-
pretty much up there. Like I don't even know what happens to the cops in the plow, and then you cut to another scene where like, all right, Nicolas Cage finally gets back to the plane, and I'm even confused. Were all the people back on the plane at this time? Because he wraps the plane around this like giant cement pillar to keep it from like taking off, which that didn't do anything. That was pointless. And then John Cusack finds some other thing. He gets in a crane and makes it so that the other jet can't take off. Like a lot of shit's going on. And I'm pretty sure that was
Peter,
kind of the order of events.
Yeah.
I
but
think
but
so.
it all worked out. It all worked out. They ended up getting the plane off the ground, right?
Yep. I mean, I think it just led to, again, it wasn't enough that like Poe never came back with the fuel tank. It wasn't until like, oh shit, we got a traitor on board because the plane's tied off to the cement pillar, right? That's what gave it away. Not all the weird shit that Poe's doing that like he's never around when we're fighting. Isn't that weird, guys?
Kind of weird.
Yeah. So that's when like it finally dawns on them that they have a traitor. They have to figure it out. And then again, it's someone else that just happens to go down and finds his box. Like you would think he would have moved his box somewhere a little bit safer, right? And where's everyone else's shit, huh?
Yeah,
It's all
his
there,
is
but
just
nobody
like
cares to
first
go
in
through it.
line.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's the first of the super huge like action sequence, which it is gigantic.
Yeah,
It's probably
it goes
even
on for a while.
yeah. And then you get to the ending, which is just even more chaotic, which I don't know which one is actually bigger, to be honest. Like there are so many little to medium sized like things that happen with that whole fuel tanks sequence. And then you get to the ending where the cops have caught up with them. They got those special helicopters, and they're debating about blowing it out of the sky, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about. I watched the movie today, and I forgot there was a helicopter chase scene.
Because
Yep.
there's so much, man. There's
Yep.
so
Helicopter
much.
chase scene, and then they land in Las Vegas. How many people do you think died from just landing on the strip like that?
I like
Probably
how they
ton.
joked about it too. They're like, "Well, what do you think would have been a better idea, blowing up this plane or killing people off the strip in Las Vegas?"
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, good point.
John,
and then
yeah, the whole part, like John Cusack's up there, and the other DEA agents in the other helicopter trying to blow it up. John Cusack's helicopter's just getting in the way, so he can't lock on a missile. And like,
Yeah.
come on, man! Like, this is my plane. Don't blow it up. And I got an inside guy. And then finally they'd agree. Okay, we'll let him go because you hear Nicolas Cage, because that's the part that you're talking about, Ryan, where he gets up to he bitch slaps Martinez and gets into the pilot's chair to tell him like, hey, you need to go land this. Which fucking Swamp Thing, man, he's the pilot. Like, that guy does not give a shit. He's like, I'll do whatever anyone tells me.
Yeah.
You know?
I was thinking about that. He's just like, I'm the captain now, and you're landing it. He's like, okay.
Yeah. Until Cyrus comes up, then I'll change again.
Exactly.
Notice how he was just in every vehicle. Like he was just, yeah, he stole the fire truck.
Yeah, he's the pilot, man. He drives everything.
He's the dude. Okay, you were talking bigger action scene. Which one is bigger? The middle scene where they try and get the field truck and get everything. That's the bigger action scene. The best kill scenes are in the end.
Oh yeah, that's when all the bad guys start dying off.
It's the most epic. Like nobody in Las Vegas dies, and it's funny. This giant plane is just randomly like flying down the strip into a casino. People are still playing in the casino. They're joking about the cars being parked in the wrong valet spot.
Yep. The white Corvette.
Being destroyed. Yeah, the white Corvette, which was still intact for the entire time.
Yeah.
And okay, I just want to get into John Malkovich. That dude was like Universal Soldier. He was able to escape anything and everything he could have, even death, until he died. But they made it seem like he died like 3 times.
Oh man, he definitely died more than that, because he gets shot, and then he like survived the plane crash, and then he got strapped to the ladders, and then strapped to the ladders, ran through a building, somehow survived that, and then finally at the end, squish.
Which that whole sequence, again, very chaotic, very confused on where they were going and what was happening. I mean, when you just watch it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. But all of it makes no sense. And I have no idea where they were driving and all the turns. And somehow it seemed like they just kind of made a big old loop and they ended up back where they started because they survived the plane crash, right? They're all out there getting checked out by medical staff. And then I love this part where like John Cusack's just kind of looking off to the side and all of a sudden just turns and like there's Cyrus on the top of the fire engine, escaping. He's like, I gotta go. And then also Cameron Poe sees it and he gets on. They both get on motorcycles and go chasing him through Las Vegas, which again, great shots. I have no idea where they were going and how they caught up to anyone, and then they just ran into tunnels, and then they were back out, and then they went through a bridge, like you said, and then from that bridge, somehow John Malkovich lands into a construction area where the rest of them I don't think were in a construction area. Like I don't know what happened.
Rest in the middle of the.
Oh yeah, they run through the money truck, so money's going everywhere. Again, this is exactly like Michael Bay, where like they had all these visuals and like I don't care how we make this happen, but I want money falling from the sky. I need explosions, and John Malkovich has to get his head smashed by this rock moving machine. Make it all
he
happen.
went-
Put that all in the middle of Las Vegas.
Let's add him going through a glass walkway in the middle of the street, handcuffed to a ladder. When he's ejected from the ladder, he falls on electrical lines and is still alive.
That.
I thought he died
Yep.
during the electrical lines, dude.
I thought he was dead after that. And then
I was
he's like,
like, oh, good.
unscathed.
And who's the driver again? I forgot his name.
Something.
Swamp Thing. John Cusack, dude, gets a firefighter hose and just like opens up a hole in the cabin and just fills the entire cabin full of water.
Yeah.
It's just
And then some reason he
absolute-
flies out too at some point out of the cab. Like I don't know why that happened, to be honest. It makes no sense, but it was
stop,
awesome.
I guess.
It was what?
Abrupt stop, I guess.
I get maybe like after he hit that money car. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, well, because the money car is like just as tall as the fire truck, so you think he would just fly right into it. But he went.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it doesn't have to make sense, but it was really cool just watching a guy fly out this window with water
Right.
come spilling out. And then to really cap it all off, like I said, like I feel like they made a whole circle because then they end up right back at the casino where the plane crash happened, because that's when they finally Cameron Poe finally connects with his wife and meets his daughter for the first time, which I gotta say, it was kind of touching. Was anyone else moved? Were you guys moved?
Yeah, because they played the song.
Yeah, they played this. They played "How Do I Live," and then, but also like the little girl was a little bit taken back, a little bit afraid, and then, he's like apologizing because he didn't get a haircut, and the bunny's all torn up and dirty, and then the mom's like, "Take your dad's bunny," and he's like, "No, I don't know. It's all right. She doesn't have to," and then she takes it and gives it a big ol' hug, and they all embrace. Like that was magical. Cut to black.
Yes, Peter. Yes. There you go.
You couldn't have ended it any better, but the fact that like I felt like they thought they were done with like once the plane landed or crash landed in Las Vegas on the Strip, which was really cool. And they're like, no, we're not quite done, guys. Bring back John. Bring back Malkovich. We gotta have another chase scene. That was just it's like the Lord of the Rings. The end of it, the Return of the Kings, where it kind of keeps on fading to black. I think that's it, and there's another ending. But that's what they did. Maybe that's where the Lord of the Rings got that from. So, oh man, I don't know. Movie's fantastic.
Talking about the ending, I found out that I'm basically Nick Cage. So remember when he's giving the handshake, he's like, "I now trust 3 people, and you're the third." And so they go in for the handshake, and I noticed that when I do handshakes, for some reason, I only use these 3 fingers, the middle, ring, and pinky, and then whatever my pointer's off in limbo for whatever reason. But I took a screenshot. I don't know how well it's gonna show up on there, but that's Nick Cage doing the handshake, and his finger is out there in limbo doing the little tickle thing. And so basically, I'm Nick Cage. Just saying.
Don't people, when they do that, don't you like kind of use that to tickle their palm? Is that what you're doing to people, Nate? Is tickling their palm?
Unintentionally, but yes.
I thought that's how you shake hands. Like, don't you kind of like?
You're supposed to go in. You're supposed to go in with your whole hand, like big old firm handshake. But I don't.
Nate's doing
I don't
like
know
a
why.
gun. He's doing like a finger gun.
I go with the
little
pistol
tickle.
grip too, man. That way you can like get your finger and wrap it around their thumb. Like you gotta like clench their thumb, kind of. That
Right.
that's
Makes
open
sense,
for
man.
interpretation. It might be the most Nick Cage thing ever, but maybe maybe inadvertently we got it from him. And
That could be.
But yeah,
I don't do this thing. I'm gonna have to start shaking hands with you guys more to see what you do. Like I don't get it.
it's interesting. It's like a little pistol. I wish I could shake my own hand. But
little pistol grip.
Yeah.
It's just so you know. Pew, pew.
I think I was watching this and I randomly noticed what actors are left-handed. I think John Cusack is left-handed. Just throwing that one out. So, little facts about this before we wrap this one up. Dave Chappelle improvised most of his lines.
Yep.
It was
believe
nominated for
that.
2 Oscars.
For sound, right?
Yeah, best original song, and lost to Titanic, and it was nominated for worst song at the Razzies. And what's the other one? Yeah, it was their songs. This was Simon West's first film. The transport system in the movie was new at the time,
Yeah.
so
Hey,
this is
so can we just
Yeah.
you mentioned the song? Let's back up to the song because I feel like that has its own little controversy with it because, well, first off, How Do They Live? Like, I like the song, but it is really weird for this movie, right? But it
You're
fits.
yeah.
It still fits, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why the ending works so well is because they start playing that song. I love how they start it and end it with it. But they like it was originally recorded by Leanne Rimes, but she was only like 14 at the time. They're like, we probably shouldn't have her associated with this movie that kind of has some bad stuff, and um, so they had it re-recorded by the other chick that did it. I don't remember, but
Trisha Yearwood.
yes, thank you. So I don't know. I'm just curious. Did anyone else like feel like it was just so out of place? And like that's the fact that this is the single. Like when you think of Con Air, this is the song that you think of.
Now that I think about it and you put it in perspective, it doesn't fit today, but when it came out, it fit perfect. It was like Kiss from a Rose for Batman Forever. Like
Oh, good
that
point. Okay.
that is forever ingrained in my mind for Batman Forever. But you listen to
yeah.
those separately, you're like, what the fuck? How does that fit in Batman Forever?
But
So
it
how does
fits
this
so
fit?
nicely.
Yeah, but it fits
Does.
so nicely. And that was that time in those movies where we got to have the song, we got to have the hit, like love song, and it is kind of weird that Leanne Rimes was 14 at the time, so they had to have Trisha Yearwood sing it because
Yeah.
back and forth. But you're right. It
I
doesn't
mean,
fit, but it does.
it shows that it's so weird because the fact that it was part of best original song for the Oscars, and then also for the Razzies, like it was weird.
And I like that it was written for this movie. I thought that was just a song that came out, and they were like, "Oh, that'd be perfect for this." But it said it was a feature in the film Con Air. Like it was made for this. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I think of Con Air, that's the song. So,
Here's interesting thing. Someone died while making this movie.
oh yeah, one of the special effects guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they
And
dedicated it to him at the end in the credits.
oh, dude, and he's got the whole world in his hands when they're destroying all the casinos. That was kind of weird.
Which
But
again,
it says,
that was a great part. Just I got the whole world in my hands. So creepy.
Nate, to answer your question, Nick Cage did most of his own stunts as well.
Makes sense. He totally did the headstand push-ups then.
Oh,
I guess
and
that's a stunt.
Las Vegas Climax was originally set at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So, wow, they were going to go in a completely different direction. I think Vegas was a better choice.
Yeah, I absolutely agree too. Also, very suited for Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he could just pop right out and just go to the casino.
Yeah.
Oh, we're done. All right, cool.
I'm
be
just
here.
gonna go home, guys.
Overall, all right. I love spoiling movies. I haven't spoiled a movie in a long time, like just front to back. Is this is a dumb question, but is this a movie that you recommend?
Oh, 100%. That's why we're doing this.
All day,
Who do you
every day.
recommend it to? Yeah, it's just anyone, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone should watch this film. Like it is fantastic. Like
Yep.
And I watched this alone too. Like I think watching in a group setting would be fantastic, but I had a blast just, with my baby watching this late one night. It was awesome.
Like, sweetie, that's Nicolas Cage. He's your hero.
Oh yeah, starting at a young age, that's for sure. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everyone agree?
Yeah,
100%.
even in the next 20 years, like if there's, I will still recommend this movie to people.
This
This
so
would be the movie I watched when Nick Cage died. And, like I need to go through my binge watching marathon. Like this is probably the first one I'm gonna watch.
yeah. I think Nate, did you say this is like the best one? Maybe?
Yeah, it's pretty close to The Rock, but I think this might take it.
Well, so like I said, I went in, I did Face Off, did The Rock, and then now
Yeah.
Con Air.
Right.
When I was rewatching The Rock, I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't as much as I remembered.
Mm.
This one I had a blast from start to finish, and I'm still. I mean, don't get me wrong, The Rock's still awesome, but I think I put this one ahead. I think I'm there with you.
Yep. I think I agree.
I would
Yeah.
put it ahead because for me, The Rock is Sean Connery's movie. Con Air is Nick
Mhm.
Cage's.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all Nick Cage, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Was there, before we wrap this up, is there anything that we missed that you guys wanted to touch on?
Oh, Danny Trejo. He was the most threatening one on that entire plane, in my opinion.
Yeah, which that's another part.
Yeah.
Another part that again probably should have alerted people that there was a traitor on board, because I do remember now Nicolas Cage did get back there first, tied up the plane, got on the plane, stopped Danny Trejo from raping the girl, handcuffs him up into a cage in there, and everyone gets back on the plane and doesn't even mention that he's tied up.
And okay, when the plane was starting to crash down too, I was like, bro, there's no way that this Danny Trejo's just like bouncing around in there. Like this plane is collapsing into buildings. They have to rip his arms off or something. Sure enough, they fulfilled
They did.
my question, and I thought that was a great little send off to him because his whole tattoo signified what kind of convict he was, and that was the last remaining thing you saw of Danny Trejo's character. So, and I thought the girl cop was going to start hooking up with Nick Cage, but she was very well reserved.
She
She
gave
knew.
him a smooch, but yeah, other than that, held it back.
Yeah. Anything else, Nate, that you wanted to talk about? Stood
I think we
out?
covered all of it.
There's so much. I feel like we hit every little detail. Well, I mean, there's a
Oh.
lot more.
One of my favorite parts was when they found Dave Chappelle, his body, in the wheel well of the airplane because it was stuck. I thought his little dummy body was hilarious because his face was all contorted. And it was like that the whole time. And then you see him falling and he's got the same face. And then when he lands on the car, same face.
That was good. That was good full circle there.
That
Yeah.
was probably one of my favorite kills until John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, well, we got to do more spoiling episodes, and we'll figure out more Nick Cage this month. Hey, Peter, I think that cowboy movie is available on Amazon Prime, so we do not need to go see it in a movie theater.
Oh, sweet. You can see Nicolas Cage be a cowboy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next up, we need him in space.
Nice. Yeah. He needs to do a space movie. Man. Well, this has been fun, guys. I love, especially this movie in particular. That's why I was like, there's just so much to talk about. It's so fun to relive this movie. So, Con Air, everyone.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, John Cusack.
Solid 90s movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was just 97. I think was Nicolas Cage's like year. I think.
Oh yeah.
This movie came out the same month as Face Off. Can you imagine that?
What?
Oh my
It's a lot of filming.
Yeah, can you imagine like,
Two
I just
full
went,
movies.
yeah, I saw Con Air, and then that same month, like I'm gonna go right back and go see another Nicolas Cage movie, Face Off, like, and blown away by both of them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, let's mark it on your calendar, guys. I think we gotta do Face Off next year then.
I'm all for that because I love Face Off. It's Probably my favorite Nick Cage movie.
It's so good. So good. Well, Nate, thank you for joining us.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure.
Mucho's fun.
Anytime, man. All right, guys, let's pew pew out. Pew 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 pew.
Pew 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 pew. Come on, dance a little bit, Nate.
Yeah, quit looking so stiff.
Do the nice move.
Be sure and visit bmoviesbeyond.com.